So it's what you mean, man. This is a lot different than 15 years ago, 18 years ago. That depends on what city you're in. Did you get funded? Were you in the woods? You're in the grassy lands? You're in the flats? You're in the mountain regions? You got funded? You were funded? Oh, is it you? Is it you? What's in your area? I would not know. I don't know what your slang and dialect is. You were funded. Let's see. The subject, predicate, and what was it? I don't remember. I don't remember at all. No, they had said they were going to have a program in the state of Florida. Everybody joining Florida. I mean, I'm talking about people that are 50 years old. I'm not talking about 16-year-old kids. You know, I mean, they'll probably do the same thing if on the East Coast, you know, to get into the warmer weather. Well, we have some storms, you know, the earth is destroyed every so often. You know, I mean, what is it, October, the hurricane season? But did we ever get wiped out? $135 million homes, mansions destroyed on Long Island. That was, we were supposed to, right, I put into state 25, I worked for 25 more years with psychiatry, group therapy, all this different stuff, you know. And they got a long way to go. I mean, they got a long way to go. You know what I'm saying? Man, I put on some weight. I didn't eat for 4 years, you know. They said, you know, you go down there, they told us when you leave. It took me 12 years to get here, to get back home, you know, or we were runaway often. But they told us, you know, if this, you know, if you can find, I mean, if there's a family that's not getting a public support check, then maybe you could hand me a check, you know. The only way I got to get something, at least a rental, you know. Was honest. I thought I met the woman a long time ago. We went for the Brooke, you know, the Brooke Shields campaign on the East Coast. Did you see the blonde and the brunette, the two new young ones? Wow. Yeah, they went for, I mean, what good? I saw them over at the Two Rivers Motel. They were heading north. Probably don't, well, one was from New Jersey, one was from Long Island. Yeah. I don't know what happened to those two. They got married, right? Yeah. Was it the one on top in New York City? Where did she? You drive through New York City, she got posters and everything. I mean, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's like this when you're looking at the magazine. It's like this when she's standing in front of you. Too young. Yeah. Look at that from that work. I have 20 years. We had to do 20 years in the Bible. This is my father got me my Air Force boots. The Walmart special, you know, build your own. You know, they're trying to start a new organization. He died. That's it. Stepfather. Always told me I use a condom. So how are you my son? You know, Marion went to the brothel with the 6 men. There's 6 men there. How do I know you're my son? My mom says no. You know, you're born to me. For 2014, stop. Watch me get cut off. You know, you're not allowed. You had to leave your money with your father. I mean, we had nothing. I mean, we had duck eggs, bread, milk, and butter. And my father got a job. When we got, there was nothing there. Nothing there before Grumman Aerospace, 9 years later. When we you got a TV like the Sunoco. They used to sell the TVs at, you know, from Delancey Street at Sunoco when it first came out 6,000 years ago. You're in it. You got to think about it this way. You know, when you die, they take you up by helicopter or transport or ship back to the country, your family. If they accept you back, your family threw you out when you were probably 7 years old. You all make the mistake. you know. But if the kid learns his lesson, he's going to behave himself, he can come back in, and you get, you know, you get the mansion, you get the whole thing. I'll fly you there. You revive you from the dead. You know, you're in the hospital. That machine, you know, bring it back from the dead. It takes a long time. It could take you 7 years to get well. You can forget about it. You know what you did. It gets so bad for so many people. A lot of people, you know, like the U.S. military said, just get dead. Just get dead. You know, who wants to live that life? No smoking, no drinking, no girlfriends. You know, you gotta get married, you gotta have a family. Then you find out they're gay, they're lesbian. If you're a heterosexual, that's a big problem. You know what I mean? Or if you were gay and had to be heterosexual, that's a big problem. Sometimes the world, you know, every 100 years, I mean, just starting the next 100 years, some of these, you know, 8 southern states, it's a spectrum network. It took me 4 years to set up my own theater system. I did this, you saw what I have. I went with the Dolby. I did a recorder. I got the Wi-Fi in the back. They're supposed to keep you alive. It's not to mean somebody can come to your house and kill you, though. I mean, don't, you know, break your bones. You see these mobile apps where you put, like Halloween, you have ghosts in your house through the Wi-Fi. The recordings, well, our job was to monitor what is in the Xbox One, and Xbox Live. You know, what is in these foreign countries that are 8,000 years old, probably where you're from. I mean, if your father, you know, cut you a check, you know, like in Castoro, peasant, which wasn't, his name was Castoro. Castoro, they cut him, I mean, they took his fishing station, 8 acres of land on a waterfront from Mauritius Inlet. On a place that is now called Long Island in hell. You know, like if you see it says Long Island, you're in hell. You know, you got 6,600 years, which every time you go to sleep at night, you go down to the next planet. There's one way to describe it, but it's, you know, it's a point in space. It's a digital array splashed out, and then each house, your house is replicated. You know, on your birth date, you know, and your time, and all of that different stuff. They're trying to track it. NASA seems to have a good bead on it. And I just saw they were funded $20 billion. Military was funded $52 billion, I think. And FEMA was funded $15 billion for the hurricanes and stuff. We had 2 dudes. We had Irma. You do realize it's far. It's a lot different if you travel here. Just some of this news was 20 years ago. Some of the shows are 20,000 years ago. Now that fucking son up. No, daughter, is that your boy? Is that your boy? No, fix it. Just fix it. We can't. We're trying to figure it out. I mean, we got records from 20,000 years ago with Jesus Christ. That you can. I mean, but I wouldn't know what to type in there. What the title was. You type in that, you see you don't know that it was 6,000 years. Oh, right. Oh, yeah, right. And kill all the Christians, right? What a war, huh? 1,095-year war, right? To gain Jerusalem, and then Rome just sat tight. They didn't say a damn thing until it was over with, when the tradesmen took over Jerusalem. Then they declared in the public, got TV. He didn't know that at all. I mean, they had this already. It might not be in your city because it's a wooded area you're in. But every area does the same thing. They make your own. There's a different frequency, different decimal, and the whole thing. and who's in the sphere? They describe it. I don't know. Florida's a lot different. They tell a story, prove it wrong. Prove it wrong. There's a globe, and a globe. The only thing I can think of, and what do you think? Actually, I would think 666 on the tiles because we're on the East Coast. Like, how do you travel? How do you know when you put it in a box? And it's one. What is it? They call it six. Why six? They were doing it's metric here. Like if I went to manufacturing, I get a blueprint. I put it up on the wall. I have to look at the notes. Metric, which means I have to measure it. Now, what am I measuring with? Am I working with an English veneer? Am I in an English shop? What is the distance to 1? 0 to 1 on a tape measure. What is that? Is that the weights and measures of the federal government of the United States of America or USA? Is that a foreign government's machine? That's why manufacturing, doing sales work is very difficult to gather the material. But the engineer said we need these 250 pieces, and these are the machines to buy. They're 152 grand a piece to make it. These will work. Proven, tried, tested. Where are you going to get the down? You got to remember, everybody's on public support money. There's no profit. The families, like Castoro and Poser and name all the families. You're not getting what profit? You get Christmas, you get Thanksgiving, you get a family life, and it takes it away from you, and then cut out something for his grandchildren. Give him a new contract. I took in the blues. You can't do it. They told me a long time ago not to put on, not to take that. I will put the blues on. Use a choice, right? Did you try the? Can't do that either. We got these. This one puts pain in your body that you hallucinate instead of pot. There's a war on drugs. They announced in Gainesville, Georgia, and we had to go back home. So basically, not to vote unless you tried it. Does it work or doesn't it? You know what I mean? I'm not to vote not to have something. You didn't even try it. You know what I mean? I can't do that either. It's so complicated. When you think of Democrat, Christ had said, a house divided against itself. Democrat, Republican, undecided. Look what's going on in the politics, from 6,000 years ago, watching the tapes again, watching a rebroadcast. They are jacking people. The same thing happened when I was a kid with Camelot, with the Kennedys. They jacked everybody out of government. Somebody figured it out. I give $50 billion to Atlantis to build me the Grumman Aerospace F-14 A6 to defend New York City. Put $50 billion in there, and everybody gets a public support check, $325 a month, half for a mortgage. You have home own, and all that changed, and you get taxes and insurance. As far as the food, you go get that yourself. You go work. So that's a long time ago, and then this ring is 6,060, and as you fall into eternal damnation, the matter of ascending faith and commandments, make your list. Start the New Testament, make your list. Yes, yes, no, no on each thought. You are going, and then no sleeping. You are now going to need a psychiatrist. That's to sign you into a check. Make sure you go down there and get a check. Do not do what happened to me. I worked and paid $152,000 in taxes. I made $352,000 divided by 18 years, $632 an hour. Psychiatrists think that's theirs. That when I tell you I hate, when I went outside, I put Sigmund Freud in there with me. We're having a steel cage match. I broke all my shoulder. You know what I mean? Punching his head out. I mean, you screwed my life up with a piece of paper. You know, it's his opinion. But that was his point. He was a pedophile and a rapist and a womanizer and a drug addict. Right? And what is it to take somebody, put them in the hospital and not let them out until it equals the equity on your home and ruin it entire? They would not care. Yeah, I know you know what I mean. You do. The other 2/3 do. The Republicans, they don't know. You're trying to fund a machine of fixing food poisoning that is past FDA. You know, they won't throw it out and lose their money. Gee, I wonder why. You know, but you can't live your life that way. Life eternal was telling me, which has nothing to do with the, you know, are you Christian? Are you Christian? I mean, it's not even mentioned one time. You know, Christ came up here and said, screw the Father, do whatever you want. And you get away with it. Now, you want to run that by me one more time? A nice man, you know, this, that, and the other thing. And then, you know, which was the Father, the wife, the Holy Spirit. And I mean, I give her credit. I mean, if I don't get, I mean, what a ribbing. What a ribbing. And that's why I say, I can't, you know, I want to kick her ass. Fucking me around. Excuse my French. I won't though. You know what I mean? I mean, you know, you say, mommy put a pop on. Because the old spec, before it was sold to the public, no. But as far as I know, in the United States, they dedicated a document for all the areas. I'm like, what is this area supposed to be? It's supposed to be an Air Force base. But where are they going to get money from us? They sell it to you. You know what I'm saying? For what? And then the people think, what? I mean, most of them didn't pay taxes and bought property because you could take your tax money and invest it. This way they didn't have to. But ultimately, it's not yours. It's not anybody's. I mean, look at your driver's license. All the properties are the sheriff's. I mean, ultimately, is it anything but that? Anytime he wants it? This was Glenn Lanning. I took part in the Castoro pose with Lucarelli, Richard Daly, Sauer, all of them. You know, and then it was the leprechaun story, the good luck charm, you know, to have a child, because if you get married and you have children, you will get a contract, you know. I mean, you're not gonna, you know what I'm saying? If you show any potential at all, that you're gonna have to go down to the bar and meet the cops. You know, and you know, going to heaven has to do with going back to your family. You know, so wealthy people, you know, and then you know, get rid of this kid. You know, he won't accept the father's values unless he comes back to us and he does get. Do you get it now? I mean, you know, as your father said, do what your father said. Didn't I do that? Yeah, but that's the one that helped. I mean, he went too. Send a guy, you know, one of the cousins or brothers out to raise you. they got thrown out. You know, but then again, you cut yourself a slice of the pie if you get on top of it. You know, and that is if they say so, right? I mean, if they say you get the contract based on your work ethic and everything you did do, suffering your backside off for 50 years, at 50 years old, do you get a contract? I didn't get one. You know what I mean? So that's it for me. But they did offer us to make a movie since I did the Shields Incorporated 20, the Korea Makeover. I wrote it down. I mean, Chris Henry had contacted me from New Mexico. My computer system and computer electronics, and wanted to write it down and send it to Brooke Shields. He was working the game. There's 2,000 girls. He was going out and all the different girls. You know what I'm saying? He sleeps with the different ones. And but once I was writing it, this ain't gonna work in the Northeast. It's not our slang. It's not our dialect. You know, how about I put it together and I send it to you? And then went and picked up Brooke after Andre. Well, I didn't want to do anything. I mean, you know, but that's a different girl. Where's she? I went there. I mean, I was from the New York area. She lives in that building. But, you know, if you go there, she just goes in the back walls, and you know, with the FBI and the cops, the whole thing. You know, she said something stupid. Why did you say I want to be a virgin and not can I be? You know what I'm saying? So those 100 years were the best thing ever. It's been running every 6,000 years. They're running again. This time they're going to try and put out all new people. If you're any good at all, you slide into the slot, you know, and then they'll move out the ones that, as we learn and we grow and we evolve, to throw it the fuck, you know, throw it out of here. Does not apply. NA, not applicable. So I worked on governmental things, you know, and then the World Trade Center in New York City said that's ours. You don't get that. You know, I worked on a lot of things. 25 product lines as a salesman. All of them went through. I mean, the one thing was 80 million in commission, 75 million. I mean, steak is $1,300 each. So if, you know, the most of Missouri and the people from the grassy land, they want their money. I mean, if you have a house mortgage, you're okay with State Farm. I can't do that either. You're supposed to know that. Depending on how much you buy, you know, you're supposed to put it on your debt. No cash no more. It's all supposed to be debit card. But I find a lot of people want cash. You know what I mean? I know myself. You know what I mean? Even you know, especially if the people work that gave you this. I mean, it's got so much energy in it. You know, when you're not eating, when you're old age. You know what I mean? You can't walk, you can't bend down, you can't tie your shoes, you can't go to the bathroom the right way. Get old together. You know. I mean, I'm wishful thinking that Brooke, you know, Brooke Shields she's my sister in a previous life. We got born again. Did you put in to be born again and try again? You went to the number one hospital and asked if you can be born again? Did you fill out the paperwork? Vitro fertilization, blood, you know, bring you back to life. You had a shitty life, you know. You want, I mean, you didn't get it. Try again. You know the what do you call it? The born again. Resurrection. I had to go through the resurrection of the dead. You know, you're such a wise ass, you know, you get in a casket. You know, 6,000 years. Like, I don't know. How would you know? Is it the same country? Is it the same language? Like they say, I go to Sunoco, I walk back and the nurse says, where did you go? I said, I went to Sunoco. She says, no, you didn't. I can wind up, you need a beating. You need a miserable beating. I just got back from Sunoco. What are you calling me a liar for? I'm telling the truth. I'm telling the truth. See, there's certain things. If you finished your program and you were top notch, or at least the top three, to put you in a coma and see what your dreams are, and let you know if you have it. As far as you're concerned, nothing happened. But you worked out. You waked up on the airplane, and you were in the airport. You never left the airport. That's what an airplane is for. Since you were 21 years old, and just dream on the computer system, like the cabinet, like Donald Trump's, presidents. Are you allowed to do this? No, we're gonna change the whole thing. Now that we know there's a heaven, we just didn't know. I mean, it's a new nation. It's only 300 years old. Tumble through the tulips. What does God look like? Beauty. What you do? Go to college? Does that say he's invisible? Is your imaginative friend? What's so hard? You went to college. Throw it out. Make a new one. It's the computer. No, you stink at it. You stink at it. I mean, they're looking, when you run a naturals program, it's right there every time, and then he gets punched out, or she gets punched out, and just accept that. When they figure out how to do it, which they don't, I never taught manufacturing. You want to know in degrees? You want to know why? You're too stupid. You're saying things that don't make sense. If you have no basis, there's no point to teach you. Now, the way that works is if you have something better, then you keep pushing the issue. Now, you punch me out. Now do yourself. I'm not making junk. But to him, it's gold. To him, it's paradise. To him, it's a hell. To him, this is the heaven, and to him, that's the hell. Same thing in manufacturing. When you're doing something else, you get punched out. Now make junk, in my opinion. Oh, was I getting paid? You betcha. Was he getting paid? You betcha. Whose idea? It was my plan, my presentation, my prospectus, my everything. Then come over here, just run this. Bye-bye now. Go to work so you know what you're talking about. You ever talk to a public support person? I just fall asleep. I mean, this is like, like the Glenn and Glenn family from Ireland, when they had that upheaval over the Roman Catholic, they wanted this is their story. That's the family that raised me. It's a story. They want a leprechaun. You ever hear their military and all that stuff? Yeah, right. So, what do you mean? Good luck. There's a good luck charm. There's the golden pot at the end of you're chasing a golden. People, we're all on public support. What are you listening to them for? They have nothing.